My name is Eugene Ruzagira. I'm a clinical epidemiologist based at the MRC UVRI and LSHTM Uganda Research Unit here in Uganda. I'm also the project lead for the PrEPVacc trial. So PrEPVacc is a phase 2B, 3-arm, 2-stage HIV prophylactic vaccine trial with a second randomization to compare TAF, FTC, or DISCOV to TDF, FTC, or Truvada as pre-exposure prophylaxis. I'm going to focus my talk on the PrEPVacc trial objectives, the design, efficacy outcomes, and analysis, and then briefly talk about the PrEPVacc registration cohort. The trial objectives are mainly two. One is to assess the safety and efficacy of two HIV prophylactic vaccine regimens, each compared to placebo and reducing HIV incidence. And the second is to compare the safety and the effectiveness of DISCOV relative to Truvada in averting HIV infections in the context of background incidence. Some of the considerations in the design of the PrEPVacc trial are the trial designed to detect vaccine efficacy of public health relevance. In light of the 86% reduction in HIV demonstrated in PrEP trials, PrEPVacc is powered to detect a protective vaccine efficacy of 70%. We anticipate that an HIV vaccine program would provide PrEP to support the period to peak immunogenicity, and we use the opportunity to generate data on DISCOV in a predominantly female population in sub-Saharan Africa. So participants will be randomized to 3 vaccine groups. In vaccine group A, participants will receive DNA and AIDS vaccine injections at weeks 0, 4, 24, and 48. In vaccine group B, participants will receive DNA and GP140 at 0 and 4 weeks, and then a boost of MVA, CMDR, and GP140 at 24 and 48 weeks. In group C, participants will receive saline placebo at 0, 4, 24, and 48 weeks. Participants will be followed up for a minimum of 74 weeks. There will be a concurrent randomization to DISCOV, to daily DISCOV or Truvada, and this component of the PrEP trial will last up 26 weeks. Blood samples will be obtained for safety evaluations, immunological assays, as well as HIV testing. The primary vaccine efficacy outcome is HIV acquisition by a participant who had completed 3 immunizations, and was HIV negative at week 26. And the time frame for this outcome is week 26 to week 74 in MAMS. For the vaccine trial analysis, the trial is powered for efficacy using the multi-arm, multi-stage design based on 3 arms and 2 stages. The final analysis assumptions include a target efficacy of 70% relative to placebo, an HIV incidence of 4 per 100 person years, lost follow-up of 10%, and a power of 90%. The minimum sample size will be 1,668 participants. That is 556 in each vaccine group. If the HIV incidence is higher than 4 per 100 person years, it will be possible to have fewer than 556 participants per group. However, if the HIV incidence is less than 400 per 100 person years, then the follow-up duration will have to be longer. There will be no comparison of active vaccine regimens due to insufficient power. There is one planned formal interim analysis to assess efficacy when there are 7 events in the placebo arm. The primary PrEP efficacy outcome is HIV acquisition at or before week 26 by a participant who was HIV negative at enrollment. And the time frame for this is week 0 to week 26. For the PrEP analysis, we will use the averted infections ratio, which measures the proportion of infections that are prevented by Descovy that would have been prevented by Truvada in this case. And the comparison of Descovy to Truvada will take into account background HIV incidence, which will be obtained through the registration cohort. I'll speak about the registration cohort shortly. So the registration cohort is a prospective longitudinal study with two main objectives. One is to help with timely enrollment to the vaccine trial. The second is to obtain current estimates of HIV incidence in the study population. The study was initiated in 2018 at 5 sites in Africa, one in Masaka, Uganda, in Durban, South Africa, in Mbeya, Tanzania, Dar es Salaam also in Tanzania, and Maputo in Mozambique. The populations being targeted for enrollment are high-risk individuals, including female sex workers, men who have sex with men, and in the case of Uganda, persons who live in fishing communities around Lake Victoria. We have screened over 2,700 individuals and enrolled 2,152. Around 79% of these are female. The mean age is 25 years. At baseline, only about 50% of the participants had had about pre-exposure prophylaxis, and only about 1% were using PrEP, with these reported in Dar es Salaam and Maputo. However, the proportion of people willing to use PrEP in this population was high, ranging from 75% in Masaka to 98% in Dar es Salaam. Overall, 89% of persons in the cohort were willing to use PrEP. When we look at HIV incidence, over 2,151 person years, we have observed 71 seroconversions. Most of these are female participants, only 6 are men. The overall HIV incidence is 3.3 per 100 person years, and the highest incidence was observed in Mbeya at 6.4 per 100 person years. When we look at the most at-risk participants in the cohort, these are female participants who are not taking PrEP and who are less than 40 years of age. The HIV incidence goes up. For example, in Masaka, it goes up from 3.5 per 100 person years to 6.8 per 100 person years. And overall, it goes up to 3.9 per 100 person years, from 3.3 per 100 person years. In summary, PrEPVacc is 3 trials in 1, so it's efficient and cost-saving. It targets the vaccine efficacy of public health relevance. It will test each of 2 combination regimens compared to placebo within the same trial. It uses a pragmatic approach to HIV vaccine trials in the era of PrEP. That is, PrEP is provided to support the immunization phase. It utilizes the opportunity of a second randomization to assess Descovy in a heterosexual population, and the result will be relevant to programmatic rollout. Finally, the registration cohort is key to achieving target incidence and timely accrual. I would like to acknowledge the PrEPVacc funders, the institutional partners, as well as the PrEPVacc protocol team. Thank you very much.